Boruto, in my opinion, has been getting a lot of unjustified hate at sometimes, and then when something really hype comes out, it seems like it gets underappreciated. Like no one really gives it that much time of day. But with just seeing my whatchamacallit, the picture to click on, this is by far my favorite opener of all the Boruto openers and of a lot of the openers in 2018. It feels like a lot of them are really like they're just not as crazy as of lately. And I think Boruto and how this opener uh, kind of coincides with the ending one is very, very like touching and stuff. So if you don't know, Mitsuki's been pretty much one of the bigger popular people as of lately in this week's episodes. So to have an ending song that's kind of catered to him, even though it did have a lot of reused elements, like reused of different animations of different things he experienced during school and stuff, like when he was fighting against the guy with the bugs and ended up under the water. But they were used in such creative ways that it was dope, so it didn't really matter uh, if they were reusing it like that. And then they did show a little bit new content and some from the Boruto or from the Mitsuki one-off. But the big thing that stood out from for me out of all of it is how much they're actually paying homage to this arc, or they're paying, like that much attention to this in general. Like it's not something that it's Mitsuki's gone missing and it's over within 4 episodes. We're looking at like maybe 6 episodes, 7 episodes of just Mitsuki and really what could be possibly um, something to make him turn against the Leaf Village in general. So I love that aspect of just trying to figure out what could have made him, do this switch. And not only that, if he is in the switch, if it is something that's what I'm trying to remember who said it. Uh, oh, I think it was Shikadai's dad, Shikamaru. He pretty much put one and one together, and just as like maybe he was being targeted and he had to go, or someone would get hurt, or vice versa. Like he would get hurt inside the village, and it would cause casualties, any numbers of things that would just cause problems, and that's something he probably didn't want, or maybe just his identity and the sage power that he possessed and different stuff like that being out to the public maybe was something he didn't want as well. Who knows? I hope they really get into detail about it, and I hope it's not too corny. Hope it kind of like lives up to all this hype that they're building up right now. But from what I really can tell of this opener is it's kind of convenient that all of the people that are in the opener fighting this giant ice monster that has Boruto frozen in place. Um, all of these people are like the same people who are in this mission that we're watching, almost as if whatever we're watching right now is a setup to what's to come for what's happening in this opener, which I can say that openers are one of the biggest spoilers of all spoilers in anime. But they spoil it in the best of ways, in the funnest of ways. So at least they try to make it look beautiful while they're telling you maybe a little bit too much detail for the next, you know, 2 weeks of or 3 weeks of Boruto. Um, sure, we probably don't know where this whole ice giant dragon's going to be coming from, but we have a good feeling that it could be tied to this arc or some time close to it with this whole group being together, or we just know that this group is going to assemble yet again, which we didn't see like Iwabe and like all the other kids that are really worried about Boruto and everybody who's gotten mixed up in this, who want to help. So that's why I say we could be seeing it very close in the future, simply because these are the kids that are pretty much exiles at this point, and if they go back into town or into the Hidden Leaf, they're going to have to be punished for whatever, leaving and being a rogue ninjas at this point, pretty much by leaving at martial law or whatever. Um, but to see these two, like all these snakes just going at each other, not even just all the snake. I'm guessing that there was a lot of snake battling until this red snake really figured out how to harness this spit that or like this ink that it has that can turn you into stone. And I'm guessing all the other snakes were smart enough not to mess with him, hence why everybody despised him. It's pretty clear that he would just turn you to stone and probably thought, bust you open, shred you, which that wouldn't be any fun to fight against, in my opinion. So it was pretty clear to me why they hated him, and to know that the snakes themselves were developing that type of power, and that he might not even be the strongest of the clan or whatever. Because seemingly Sasuke was summoning a snake that was much bigger than both of those ones, in my opinion. So if that's the case, then these guys, their abilities are very minor to what they could be learning in the future, which is actually terrifying. With how giant these snakes are and how powerful they already are physically, to know that they could easily start developing more abilities is actually like terrifying, man. Um, but yeah, we learned that one of these snakes definitely were loyal to Sasuke, like I called in my previous review, and I truly thought that that was going to be the case. If not the case, I thought it was funny, or I thought Sasuke's like something with Sasuke might have like been on board until like a symbol or a way for Sasuke to track him, like a jutsu or something that the snake would be able to notice. But it was even better that it was the daughter that he noticed of Sasuke, or just like maybe he knew the blood or the sense of Sasuke Uchiha. Maybe at like as if Kurama could probably sense Boruto and parts of Naruto in Boruto. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those like instance types or instincts types of thing, which is cool in my opinion. I did want to hear more of where Sasuke and him have their history from, which I thought would have been pretty cool. But they're probably either saving it or it just isn't as important as what's coming up sooner or later. So we'll see what that has to do. But overall, man, this was very, very fun. I can't complain about anything besides that the episode actually ended and I wanted to see more. We got Chocho getting turned into stone, which was pretty epic. Um, but I think one of the crazier things that are going to come in the future is just what the heck will Boruto become at the end of this series? There's so much potential in the air right now. And just by him, in my opinion, fighting these snakes and being in this area, I think it's another just calling or sign that if Boruto truly wants to take any path in this show, he can take it. And the only thing holding him back is if he thinks it's cool or, just who owned it before him so then he can feel some type of way when he masters it. So if you really ask me what I think Boruto would actually choose, snake, snail, or toad, I think he would go with the toad, um, only because Naruto went with toad. Even his teacher, like his leader of the squad, it went with the toad, and I think that would be a good way for Boruto to be able to just be like, oh, you guys had this, just like the Rasengan in general, is he just wants to surpass every and anybody who does something that he does. He wants to be the best at doing it, just like the Shadow Clone. He wants to somehow do more Shadow Clones than his dad. When his Shadow Clones have very unique aspects about them, they feel like they're more realistic. but at the same time, there's nowhere near as many as Naruto can put up, and those guys seem realistic too, where they can hold out meetings and like even do certain tasks for certain people. So overall, man, Boruto will probably pick Toad to try to overall beat everybody, or if he really wants to follow in his footsteps of his his teacher, which I don't think he wants to now that him and the snake guy did not get along too great, and Boruto overall seemingly kind of gave us this distinct indication that he just wasn't a fan of snakes. He's like, oh, a snake is always a snake. He just had like all these little judgmental things about him as if he knew everything about a snake. So if anything, he might end up being a freaking snail the way he was acting. um, Mitsuki gets the snake. Sarada gets the toad because she follows Naruto. And then bada bing boom pop, you got Boruto who gets left out, and now he has to use a snail. But I think he's already summoned a toad, if I'm not mistaken, in the earlier episode. So um, there's that. But other than that, everybody, actually no, he summoned some weird thing, I believe. Anyway, off track. But let me know if you guys are watching Boruto and have any suggestions or questions of what you think could be happening in the future of this series with the time skip that could inevitably happen at any time, really. And on top of that, I hope you guys just enjoy the content. I will be dropping as much as possible, so make sure you subscribe and drop a like if you enjoy a certain content than I do, so I know I can do better or make content like it so you guys can enjoy it. And with that, I will talk to you in the next one. Have a good day, night, morning, whenever it is when you're watching this, and I will talk to you in the next one. All right, everybody. Peace.